29. Job continued his discourse. How I long for the months gone by, for the days when God watched over me, when his lamp shone upon my head, and by his light I walked through darkness. Oh, for the days when I was in my prime, when God's infinite friendship blessed my house, when the Almighty was still with me, and my children were around me, when my path was drenched with cream, and the rock poured out for me in a stream of olive oil. When I went to the gate of the city and took my seat in the public square, the young men saw me and stepped aside, and the old men rose to their feet. The chief men refrained from speaking and covered their mouths with their hands. The voices of the nobles were hushed, and their tongues stuck to the roof of their mouths. Whoever heard me spoke well to me, and those who saw me commended me, because I rescued the poor who cried for help, and the fatherless who had none to assist him. The man who was dying blessed me. I made the widow's heart sing. I put on righteousness as my clothing, Justice was my robe and my turban. I was eyes to the blind and beat to the lamb. I was a father to the needy. I took up the case of the stranger. I broke the banks of the wicked and snatched the victims from their teeth. I thought I would die in my own house, my days as numerous as the grains of sand. My roots will reach to the waters, and the dew will lie in all night on the branches. My glory will remain fresh in me, and bow ever new in my hand. Men listened to me expressively, waiting in silence for my counsel. After I had spoken, they spoke no more. My words fell gently on their ears. They waited for me as for showers, and drank in the word as the spring rain. When I smiled at it, they scarcely believed it, and the light of my face was precious to them. I chose the way for them to set at the sheep. I dwelt as a king among his troops. I was like one who comforts mourners. 30. But now they mock me, men younger than I, whose fathers I would have dismayed to put with my sheepdogs. Of what use was the strength of their hands to me, since their fire had gone from them, haggard from water and hunger. They roamed the precious land in desolate wastelands at the night. In the bush they gathered salt purps, and their food was the root of the broom tree. They were banished from their fellow men, and shouted at the word with thieves. They were forced to live in the dry stream beds, among the rocks and the holes of the ground, and they buried among the bushes, and huddled in the underground, a base of nameless brood. They were driven out of the land, and now their sons mock me in a song. I have become a byword among them. They detested me and keep their distance, so they do not hesitate to spit on my face now that God has strung my bow and afflicted me. They drew up resistance in my presence. On my right the turban attacks. They lay snares for my feet. They build their siege rams against me. They break on my road. They succeed in destroying me without anyone's help them. They advance as though a gaping breach. Amid the ruins, they come bowling in. Terrors overwhelm me. My dignity is driven away as by the wind. My safety vanishes like a cloud, and now my life ebbs away. Days of suffering grip me. Night pierces my bones. My burning pain never rests. In his great power, God becomes like clothing to me. He blinds me like the neck of my garment. He throws me into the mud, and I am reduced to dust and ashes. I cry out to you, O God, but you do not answer. I stand up, but you merely look at me. You turn on the ruthless. With the might of your hand, you attack me. You snatch me up and drive me before the wind. You toss me about in the storm. I know you will bring me down to that, to the place appointed for all the living. Surely no one lays a hand on a broken man. When he cries for his help in his distress, I have not wept for those in trouble. Has not my soul grieved to the poor? Yet when I hope for God, evil comes, and I look for light, then darkness. The trembling inside me never stops. Day of suffering informed me. I go about blackened, but not by the sun. I stand up in the assembly and cry for help. I have become a brother of jackals, a companion of owls. My skin grows black and peels, my body burns with fever. My heart is turned and mourning, and my blood to the sound of wailing. 31. I made convenient with my eyes not to look lustfully at the girl. For what is man's lust of the God above his heritage from the Almighty of high? Is it not ruin for the wicked, disaster for those who do wrong? Does he not see my ways and count my every step? If I have walked in falsehood, or my foot had hurried after dedication, God weighed me in honest scale, and he will know that I am blameless if my steps have turned away from path, if my heart has been led by the eyes, or if my hands have been defiled. They may other eat what I have shown, and may my crops be unrooted. If my heart has been enticed by the woman, or if I had locked my neighbor's door, then may my wife grin another man's grain, and may other man sleep with her. For that would have been shameful, a sin to be judged. It is a fire that burns the destruction, it would have uprooted my harvest. If I have denied justice to my maidservants and maidservants, when they have a greenness against me, what will I do when God converts me? What will I answer when called to account? Did not he who made me in the womb make them? Did not the same one form us before within our mothers? If I have denied the desires of the poor, or let the eyes of the widow grow wearily, if I have kept my bread to myself, not sharing it with the fatherless, and for the youth I ruled him with a bother, and from my birth I guided the widow, if I have seen anyone perishing for lack of clothing, or a needy man without a garment, and his heart did not bless me, but warming him with the fleece from my sheep, if I have raised my hand against the fatherless, knowing that I had influence in court, then let me arm fall on the shoulder, let it be broken up at the joint. For I dreaded destruction from God, and for fear of the splendor I could not do such thing. If I have put my trust in gold, or set the pure gold, you are my secretary. If I have rejoiced over my great wealth, for the foundation of the hands had grained, if I have regarded the sun in the radiance, or the moon moving in splendor, so that my heart was secretly incensed, and my hand offered them a kiss of homage. Then these also would be sins to be judged, for I would have been unfaithful to God on high. If I have rejoiced my new enemies' misfortunes, or gloated over the trouble that came to him, I have not allowed my mouth to sin by invoking a curse against his life. If the men of my household have never said, who has not had his fill of just meat, but no stranger had to spend the night in the street, where the door was always open to the travelers. If I have concealed my sin and men do, by hiding my guilt in my heart, because I so feared the crowd and so dreaded the contempt of the clans, that I kept silence and would not go outside. Oh, that I had someone to hear me! I sign now my defense, let the Almighty answer me. Then my accuser put it in the instruments in writing. Surely I would wear it on my shoulder. I would put it on like a crown. I would give him account of my every step. Like a prince I would approach him. If my land cries out against me, and all his spoilers and weather betrayers. If I have devoured this yield without payment, or broken the spirit of tennis, then let the bearers come to instead of wheat, and wheat instead of barley. The word of Job are ended.